Hi, today I'd like to share something with you. This is something that I'm experimenting with. This is not tried and true or anything like this. Basically, this is not for fly fishermen either. This is for people that do fly tying, but we're going to be using conventional gear, bait casting spinning gear. Okay, this is a weighted worm hook. You can see it's a type where there's no screw eye or anything. This is just a worm hook with a weight on it. Okay, this particular one is a 6/0 decoy weighted magnum. Okay, um, and I'm borrowing from techniques from innovative fly tires, like say one guy that I love to watch his videos, Gunnar Bramer. This guy, I find him incredibly innovative, great ideas. Okay, they're tying flies on worm hooks. Okay, this is an owner one. They're tying on Arex, offset hooks made just for fly tying. Okay, and the thing is that watching how they're doing it, what they're doing is they are using a wire. I'll grab this one. Okay, they're using a wire shank. Okay, and on that wire shank, okay, they're using titanium wire onto the wire shank so that when the fish bites, this wire gets out of the way. And they're using this wire shank so they can build up a fly on all of this, all the way up to the hook eye, so you get more tying space to make a better looking fly. Okay, and everything gets out of the way when the fish bites down. The thing about titanium wire, it doesn't kink. Okay, well, it can kink, but you have to really work on it. But in the amount that is going up and down on these hooks, it's negligible. Okay, so the thing is that works great for fly fishing with the fly gear and everything like this. Okay, however, for guys that want to use spinning and casting gear, doesn't work so well because it doesn't cast well with that gear. Enter these things. Now, why this is because you're going to save a lot of money. Instead of buying plastics, you tie one of these and it lasts a lot longer than any plastic bait will. Okay, that being said, you can also customize how you want your entire fly to look. Yeah, there are a lot of advantages, toughness, how much you can put into making this flow. No plastic in the world can move as well as properly thought out, planned, and tied hair, whether it's synthetic or natural hair. Okay, anything plastic can do when it comes to flow, hair can do better. I really believe that, and so far I haven't seen a plastic that can do otherwise, except for maybe paddle tails. Okay, action tails. Now, the wire shanks, as you guys know, I don't like the commercial ones because I've had them fail on me. So this is just wire that I've haywire twisted here. Okay, and then on the other side, just using jeweler's pliers. Okay, I made an offset eye, and that is to facilitate going into the vise. Normally, if I tie a spinner, it'd be perfectly in line, but this style, because I want it to go into the vise well for better tying, I offset it like this. And one thing to note is that these eyes, I have the eye that goes into the vise, the wire is this way. The eye that goes towards the titanium wire to the hook eye is this way. Okay, that's to facilitate tying and lining everything up. Okay, and the reason I chose the decoy hook is because it's got this nice long shank up here. Now, one problem we have to overcome in fly tying, when they do this, of course, they use an unweighted shank. Okay, so I'll pick up the unweighted one, show you guys what I mean. The way that this thing is going to run the best is if you tie the fly perfectly in line with this front piece of wire, and you see that falls below the hook point. Okay, now in fly tying, fly fishing, they load it with so many materials that it basically makes it negligible that the wire that's supposed to be a weed guard is below the hook. Okay, because no matter how it lands or whatnot, that material is going to cover the hook point. It'll probably come through okay. In the case of a weighted hook like this, where we're tossing it on conventional gear, okay, we toss it and yank it through such nasty stuff that probably isn't going to work. In fact, as the little testing I've done so far, it hasn't worked. So I have to raise up the wire shank to be in line with that point, as you would guess, and using the titanium wire to make sure it's bendable and get out of the way when the fish bites down. Okay, so we're using tube fly tying techniques to make that happen. I'll show you guys in just a second. Let's get started. I'll cover how I'm solving all of this, and hopefully this will develop into something that'll save people a lot of money and catch a lot more fish with more efficiently. Yeah, so let's get started. Using 3/0 white thread. If you're serious into fly tying for streamers and stuff like that, go with gel spun or something like that. I'm using this because this is what I have right now, but honestly, mono or gel spun is much better for thread for this application. Okay, so I'm gonna just tie this in, get this going, okay, and wrap it up forward. Where did my right in front of me. If I'd been a snake, I'd be dead. Now, titanium wire. Okay, this application, I want a heavier one. Yeah, this one. Okay, and so basically the way I measure this is the overall length of the hook twice. So 1, okay, I'm gonna measure it down here, 2, there. That's all you need. Cut this off. Okay, go through the front loop, come back through that back loop that I tied purposely offset. Okay, now you see that titanium wire is there. Okay, like I said, titanium wire doesn't kink easily, but you can kink it a little bit if you try really hard. I'm gonna squeeze this pliers. Okay, then squeezing this all down, I'm gonna start wrapping this up here. And you notice my wire is twisting a little bit up here. I don't really mind about that because I'll solve that when it goes onto the hook. I've tied a few of these now and I found I can solve it up there, so I'm not going to worry too much about it here. Okay, wrap this on there. Okay, now super glue this, especially up in the front. The back I'm not so worried. Up in the front is where I'm worried, because that's where the teeth are probably going to be most likely to find it. Okay, in the back here I'm going to be adding more glue as I'm tying, so really not too much of an issue. This is a bigger fly, so instead of using bayfish emelet, it is very fine. I'm going to go all to this stuff, pearl flashabou. Okay, we're going to be doing several bits of it, so I'm going to start with this. Looks about almost a dozen of this, and in the back, okay, because this is the tail. I'm not normally I tie things in 50-50, but because I want a tapered tail, I'm going to start about 70-30, maybe even 80-20. About this is where I want to go. Okay, let me get this farther back here. Just pinch and wrap. Now spread this how you want it. Okay, especially on the sides. Okay, pull, get that all straight the way you want it. Okay, then start pulling this all out to the sides, top, bottom, get it how you want it. There. Okay, a bit of glue. So you see, because there's glue going into every aspect of the tie, I'm not worried about the glue at the base yet. Okay, whoop, dropped it down. Okay, now I should select craft fur. Okay, and even this, I'm using it to, you know, support the look of the Flashaboo, but it's also to lift the other materials. You'll see what I mean in just a second. Okay, because this is something where I want bulk to be there. Okay, so I'm going to tie so that tag is in line with the front of the shank. Two, spread that out. Put some on the bottom. You don't need a lot of material. Okay, this is the tail end. You get progressively more and more material as you go towards the head. So this, I'm just a little bit. I just want to make sure that this material helps to make the other materials coming after it stand up a bit. Okay, come on. There we go. Okay, now use your thumb, get that into the position you want. I only have 2 reps, so I can't yank and prod too much, so I have to just gently. Okay, there we go. Got that spread all around nicely. When that is done, if you want to add anything else at this point, now's the time. I'm just going to add 1 strand of this rainbow flash on each side, double it 50-50. Just a little bit extra flash. Come on. There you go. You can of course tie in other colors of craft fur to the top, you know, to the top and bottom, all sorts of variations. This is just something basic. I am going to fish with this, so you can see that I don't really care that much about exact colors, but I do care that there is contrast, and I am going to put something contrast at the end to go over the top. Okay, now let's get all of this back. Reverse tie this. Okay, I'm going to create a thread dam up here, and I'm just going to stop the hairs from coming forward. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to wrap over them. Okay, see that? That's it. I'm not going to prevent them from coming forward anymore. Okay, this is to just, everything will start to lift. Now we go back to the Flashaboo. At this point, I'm going to go 50-50, some on the top, some on the bottom. Okay. Wait. Split this 50-50 around the thread. I'm going to pin this to the top here. Get it spread out. Pin it down. Careful not to go all the way up on top of the craft fur. Okay, and I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom too. Same thing, I'm going to pin it down 50-50. This, you really don't want it to go anywhere, so you have to tie it in well. This is of course looking for larger fish that can do absolutely horrible things to anything. If you fish soft plastics, you know what fish with teeth can do to soft plastics. So imagine what they can do to this stuff if you don't tie well. Okay, spread this out, get the thread over. Okay, there's the saturation I want. Okay, Now, craft fur again. You can see everything I'm using is very synthetic, very soft, so it really, really moves. I get a lot more motion than I would out of a soft plastic. So that's the selling point on this. And if you really want scent, this stuff, you know, these things hold scent well. And because of the nature of the offset worm hook, I can also add actual, you know, meat to it if I need to. Okay, so craft fur on the top, going past the head, or sorry, past the front of the shank. 1, 2, spread this out. Okay, a few extra wraps to secure it. Let's go to the bottom. Using a bit more material because this is more forward now. Come on, there we go. 1, 2, spread that out. Check here. There we go. If you start pulling on material when you're just doing your, you know, orientation of the materials, make sure you hold it down with your thumb like this to make sure you don't accidentally pull out your materials. Okay, let's get this all back here, wrap it in. Tie this up here first, make sure it's solid base. Solid base, very solid. Okay, now that's set. That's all we need to do up here. 1, 2, 3. One more for good measure. You can see how much that titanium wire flexes. Okay, I can be abusive to this because I know the material, doink, yeah, it's gonna be just fine. Okay, come in, there we go. Now, super glue this, and we're gonna get to the hook and start preparing it to make sure that all this material up here gets out of the way of the hook point properly. Okay, normally you put a hook in a fly tying vise this way, right? In this case, we're gonna go this way. Okay, that is a big hook. Now, our piece of wire, where did that go? I need my thicker wire, this one. Okay, I am losing things on my desk. That's when you know that you're using your desk well. Okay, this is how we measure the full length of the hook once, twice, cut there. Wait, I already have that tied in. Okay, never mind, never mind. Going crazy a bit. Might be something that comes with age, maybe. Okay, get the thread base started. Boy, my fly tying skills are getting a little bit sloppy. Okay, now, here's the thing. I need to lift up the titanium wire. So to do that, just straight out of tube fly tying, gonna use chenille. Okay, tie it in just a little bit near the back end. I don't want bulk in the front near the hook eye. I don't want to crowd that. Okay, I just need something to lift up the wire in the back. That's it. Wrap this forward. Okay, come here. So we're gonna come 1, 2, 3, that's it. And then we're gonna come back. And then eventually 2, 3, and then you're going to come forward again. 1, 2, 3. Come down to this level, tie it off. 1, 2. Okay, rotate this, pull this chenille back, wrap this in, cut this off. That's that with that. Okay, that's all there is to that. Okay, now when I go to introduce the wire, it's going to rest on that chenille. Okay, and it'll be more in line with the hook point. Okay, and I want this to be pretty stiff. I don't want, because I need it to be able to, I need the buoyancy of all this material back here to pull everything properly. So I want it, I want this wire just a little stiffer. Yeah, so that, in other words, shorter. If I make it too long, this is too easily movable, okay, and it won't really stop obstacles, and it won't hold the fly together for you know, a good presentation either. Okay, so I'm gonna get it just about here. Yep, just about there. Make sure the wires aren't crossed. Yeah, they're crossed. There we go. No. There we go. Okay. Why am I having trouble seeing this? I'm having trouble seeing this for some reason. There. Okay, you go first, and you go second. Okay, measure this off. Okay, and measure this up. I want here. Tie this down. Don't go back on top of the chenille. Okay. Now, this way, yes. With the thicker wire, make sure you hold it with pliers. Okay, you get a better grip that way. Wrap that in. Take this one, okay, really pull that tight, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay, chop off the extra. And if you're wondering why I use red chenille instead of a different color, those of you who tie a lot, and you heard a gill flash, that's my reasoning, okay. Now, time to cover this all up, this joint here. Okay, you can see how easily this moves, and you can see the back of the shank is in line with the hook point. Problem is solved there. Okay, now time to cover this all up. Anytime you do any type of articulation, you need to cover the joint. Okay, I mean, some people they don't think it's important to cover the joint. I find it looks a lot better, and I get more strikes when I cover that joint. So I don't know what the fish thinks. I'm not a fish psychologist, but I do know I get more strikes when I cover that versus when I don't cover it. Okay, come on, I had this all chosen out, and I had to be a perfectionist on my hair here. Okay, a lot of hair. We're in the front portion of the fly now, so a lot of hair, or craft fur. Okay, and we're reverse tying this in. So tail, you know, normally what I call the tag end, that's going to be going backwards, and I want it more or less in line. See this short end tag here? I'm going to try to line this all up right there. 1, 2, get this all flared. I want to cover as much as possible. Okay, I'm going to cover the bottom. Pull out the underfur, all the short fibers, get this backwards. Let's go to the bottom here. Get that all in line. See, this one you don't want to lay it down like this. You have a weight in front, so you got to just force it over this way. Okay, hold that. 1, 2. Even this all out. Okay, bring this back over, get this all tidied up, separated out properly. Take the thread backwards because we don't want to crowd the hook eye. Okay, now start organizing everything backwards. Start wiggling your thread through and everything. Okay, and again, it's a thread dam. Okay, that all sits just nicely now. Okay, to work on this underside a little bit. Okay. Now at this point, if I want, ouch, that is sharp. If I want, I can put more material in the back here, but I actually do want to start on my head. I'm just going to give it a little bit of cheek color. So I'm using cerise, or you can, some people call it hot pink. I can't remember. This one, the hairline call it cerise, so I'll go with that name. I'm not sure what the actual thing is. Okay, I'm gonna line up the tag with just in front of the hook eye. Come on. Wait. Why is this not behaving? Okay, 2 reps on that. Just a little bit, just a color accent, that's all. This isn't adding that much movement or anything like that. I mean, it is movement, it's still extra select craft fur, but that's not the purpose of this. Oh, nope. Okay. Let me discipline my thread a little bit here. Come on, come on. Okay, there we go. Get this all back here. Tie all of this back. Bring all of that back. Okay. Going to the head, make sure that's solid. Keep things coming back on this fly a lot. Okay, wrap up here a little bit, build this up. Okay, now the head, very simple. I'm just using dubbing. Okay, you can, if you really want to, you can tie like a natural feather and just palmer it in. That'll work. I happen to like working with all synthetics on this pattern. So I'm using Ice Dub UV Pearl. Okay. Where's the hook? Okay, wrap this all the way to the front here. Okay, we're gonna do the undercarriage. And I'm gonna add something in just for a neat little effect. Okay, same thing. Get this here, wrap it back all the way here. Now, before I pull all of this back, I'm gonna add my contrast to the back. Always want contrast. And for me, that's this Ice Wing Fiber Minnow Back. Love this stuff. When I first started using it, I didn't know how to use it, and I thought it looked like just fancy weeds. And I didn't like it at all at first. But then when I noticed how to properly use it and apply it into a fly, loved it. Every bit of it. Okay, you have to tease this stuff out. Yeah. Get it organized. Don't get you gotta be patient with it. You gotta be patient with it. Okay, it's worth the time. And there will be some wastage with this stuff, the way it's sold and everything. There will be wastage, but this is good stuff. Okay, double it over the thread, start coming back, pin it down. 2 wraps here, space it out. That cerise acts as a good guide as to how far to space the stuff out. Okay, keep wrapping it back. It is slippery stuff. It is slippery stuff. And here I'm going to add a little bit more flash here. At this point, you notice I still haven't tied the dubbing back yet. Don't want to just yet. Okay, so everything comes together. This flash right here that I'm tying in right now acts as a letter line. Just use it to help give definition to the side between the colors. There we go. Okay, this point in time, separate out all of this stuff. Okay, wrap in front here. Bring this one back as well. Okay, you can do one side at a time. That works like this, and then just tie that down nice and capture it like this. Okay, I like to get it a little bit disciplined and then immediately do both together like such. And if you want, you can start to capture it. Okay, and really wind that tight. With that weight, you have to really make sure everything's split down the middle well. Bring the thread head together, and then whip finish. You're not done yet. Still need to do the eyes. I don't have large eyes here. I would prefer large eyes for this, but right now I haven't had a chance to go to the shop. Perhaps next time I'm out shopping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There. Cut this off. Okay, before I add my glue, I'm going to put my eyes on. The bodkin really helps with these. And again, where the colors mix, it's a beautiful spot to add the eyes. Where the colors mix. Okay, so now that that's nice and stable, in comes the glue. Have that exactly where I want it. And I'm going to saturate all this thread up here with glue. All the materials, everything. All the space between the eyes and the material, that's all getting covered in glue. Up here, same thing. Okay, there. Those eyes aren't going anywhere. Now, if you're really worried, you can, UV dub this thing. See, the moment you introduce the glue, everything can move. Okay, so try not to move it like I just did. Let the glue just sit there and do its work. Okay, I'm going to put it in this side so the gravity will pull it down. The best thing is, of course, like Gunnar does, he uses tweezers and has it just, tweezers, and it just clamps itself down. Yeah? Okay, well, that's drying. Pull out the spare fibers here. You can already see how this is set up. Okay, so we have the hook point here. The shank is perfectly in line with that hook point. Okay, and it can completely get out of the way and return back. Voila. And you can see we have a very large baitfish profile here. Okay, this thing, to complete this, I actually need to comb this and comb the dubbing in and stuff like this, and just blend everything well. I'll do off camera once the glue sets. Okay, but basically this fly is done, and you can see even the tail, everything is tapered. That 50-50 builds more base, and you have that last little bit, that last dozen makes this nice little tail back here. Okay, so I hope I gave you guys some good ideas. Again, I'll tell you, with all the glue that's in this thing is a lot more durable than any soft plastic. It'll move much more than any soft plastic because of the way it's tied. It's going to be more weedless than any soft plastic, and because of the way this gets out of the way, look at all that gap. You're going to hook everything that bites this. Okay, this is a great solution that will help a lot of anglers, and it is my hope that this is the beginning of a discussion to further this idea some more and get more fish. Cheers.